Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I want us to continue with our subject, self-identity. This subject, we've been talking about it for a while now, and I believe today might be our last part. We'll take the last part of this subject, and we were talking about the parameters or important parameters of self-identity. And we talked about how do we view ourselves, and then we talked about how do others view us. And today we want to talk about how does the enemy or enemies view us? How do they view us? And before I go there, I want just to do a recap of what we talked last time. And if you've not watched that video, you can go back to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch that video, because each video builds on the other one that follows, and therefore we are building on our third video that was talking about how do others view us. So when we were talking about how do others view us, I think we came out with one thing which is important, that it's not bad to listen out to hear what people say about us. It's important to hear that and to be careful and to be keen to listen to that. But we need to know that we are the ones to make decisions. Therefore, we need to serve as sieves. We need to sieve all the information that come to us and then pick what is good and use that. But things that are not good to us, then we need to leave those. We need to remove those from our lives, so that we build on our self-identity, so that we bring out whatever that needs to shine in us. Therefore, serve as a sieve to remove all the impurities and bad things that we hear from other people. Talking about enemies and what enemies do or view us, or how they view us. Somebody might tell me that I don't have any enemy. Therefore, you're not talking to me. But I want to challenge you that after I identify and define who an enemy is in your life, then you realize that you have many enemies. An enemy is anyone that wants to pull you down, anyone that doesn't want you to succeed, anyone that always presses you down, anyone that wants you to fail, one that want to make sure that you see yourself as failure. That's an enemy. And we have those people around us. And even if you don't have them, we can also be our enemies to ourselves. Because if you think of yourself as a failure, somebody who cannot do anything good, somebody who cannot succeed, somebody who cannot move a step ahead, somebody who has reached the end, then you are an enemy of yourself. And also, if you have people who want to bring us down, they want to suppress us, they want us not to achieve our goals, they don't want us to shine, and that identity in us, they don't want that identity in us to shine, then that those people become enemies to us. And those who are Christian, they'll say that the greatest enemy is Satan himself. And therefore, what does the enemy do to us? How do they view us? There are two things that I want to pass across here. First, the enemy will always try to make us doubt ourselves. Once you doubt yourself, then you will not be able to achieve the goal of your life. And when you read from Genesis chapter 3, remember this passage so well, because when I was still new in seminary, when I was taking theology, then the professor asked this question: what does this passage mean? What did the serpent do to Eve? And then I quickly thought, okay, the serpent lied to Eve. Then the professor said, yes, you said he lied, but that was not the thing. The thing is that the enemy, or Satan, or the serpent, caused doubt in the life of Eve. He made Eve to doubt what God had said, because the question that the serpent asked was, did God really said that if you eat from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, you will die? So that question caused doubt in the life of Eve. And because of doubting what God said, then Eve fell in sin. And that sin was transferred to the husband and to the world today. Today we talk about the original sin from Adam and Eve, the sin of doubting who God, what God had told them to do. Therefore, the greatest thing that the enemy will do in our lives is to make us doubt ourselves, make us not believe in ourselves, doubt if we'll succeed, doubt if we can achieve anything, doubt if we'll be able to do a certain thing. And once that doubt is created in us, then we'll not succeed, because just having that doubt suppresses us, makes us see ourselves as failures, see ourselves as not able to do anything, see ourselves as good for nothing. And that is what the enemy will always do, bring doubt in our lives. So when he sees our strength, he will try to bring something that will make us doubt even ourselves, doubt that we are able to achieve whatever that is before us. The second thing that the enemy does is he lies to us. John 8:44, the Bible says, Satan is called the father of lies, and he continues even to lie to the world even today. So Satan is the father of lies. So what the enemy does is to lie to us, to tell us things that are not true, to try to prove what is not true. And because he knows that if we know the truth, then we'll succeed. If you know that you have that potential in you, that identity, that special thing in you, then if you follow up with that, you'll be able to succeed. So what the enemy will tell you is that you have nothing. You don't have any special thing. You're just like everybody. You're just like your friends. You're just like your family members. There's nothing important that you can contribute to this world. And therefore, once we believe that lies, or those lies, then we'll not succeed in whatever we do. And therefore, the second thing that the enemy does is to make us, or to lie to us, and make us believe in the lies. And once we believe in that, then we will not be able to succeed. For example, somebody might come and tell you, okay, what is your family? Where do you come from? And then you tell them, okay, I'm from this family. And then they're like, okay, those people never succeed in their lives. Nobody from that family will ever succeed. And therefore, because of that lie, you believe in it, and therefore you will not able to succeed in your life, because you've believed in the lie that the enemy has planted into your life. I just want to touch on those two and say that we need to be awake. We need to know that we have obstacles around us. We have enemies that don't want us to bring out the self-identity, that special thing that has been planted into us. And therefore, if we'll not be careful to look out and to be awake, then we can easily be lied to. We can easily be made to doubt ourselves. And once we do that, then we'll not be able to realize that special thing, that identity, the one we talked about, that thing that needs to shine. So we'll not be able to shine out because we believe in lies, we'll doubt ourselves, and therefore we'll stay and waste our time just not moving, just walking around, not succeeding in everything or whatever things that we do. And just to conclude, I want to talk about the fourth parameter, that is, how does God see us? It's good also to know about what the Creator says about us, what God Himself says about us. How does He view us as His creatures? Genesis chapter 1 talks about we as human beings being created in the image and likeness of God. That we've been created special. We've been created important. We are special. It doesn't mean that other creatures and the creation at large is not special, but we are created in the image and likeness of God. If you can read that Genesis, you'll be surprised, because everything was created by a word from God. When God said, okay, let there be animals, let there be clouds, let there be plants of different kinds. And everything was created by just the word from God's mouth, which is a miracle. But when it came to a human being, the Bible says, God said, let us make man in our own image and likeness. And he came down and used his hands to create a human being. He took his time to mold and to make human beings. And that shows how special human beings are in the eyes of God. And even the way he created the woman, he caused a man to sleep and then moved one of the ribs and made a woman out of that. So he took his time and came down to create us the way we are. And therefore, we are special in the eyes of God. So when God looks at you, when God looks at me, he sees a very special creature, something that has been created in the image and likeness of he himself. And therefore, before God, we are special. And God sees us like that. And that's why we usually have a relationship with him. We have that soul that yearns always to relate to him, to relate to God. And therefore, before the eyes of God, the way you look, where you come from, it doesn't matter. You are special. God sees that speciality. And that's why I said that identity in us was put there by God himself. And then when he looks at that, he sees us as special, as important before him. And therefore, we need to walk proud. We need to walk with our heads high, because our Creator sees us special. It doesn't matter what other people say about us. It doesn't matter even what we say ourselves about ourselves, because the Creator, the person that created us, sees us as special, created in his own image. We have a relationship with him. We can relate with God. We can talk to him. We can communicate with him. We can tell him what is hindering us from achieving even our goals, or in growing, or in succeeding in whatever we are doing. We can tell him even things that hinder us from growing up, developing, moving from one place to another. We can tell him about what hinders our uniqueness to come out, because we are special, created special by him. And then the conclusion of this topic is, what is the significance of our self-identity? And just to put quickly 4 of them. First is that our self-identity helps us to recognize our emotions, our thoughts, and values. Once we know our self-identity, we are able to recognize our emotions, because it talks about our emotions. It talks about our thoughts, our values. So that is our self-identity. How do we look at that? Then secondly, self-identity helps us to know our strengths, to know the areas that we are strong, and also to know the areas that we are weak. So it puts us in between there. You will know that I'm good at this area. Once I know who I am, what I am, then that helps you and helps me to know which areas can I succeed, what is my talent, what is my gift, what is that thing that I can do better. And then also it helps you to know things that you cannot succeed in them, things that you cannot do well. A third significance of self-identity is that it makes us to be confident in ourselves, knowing that we are created in the image of God, that we are special. We have something very special in us. Therefore, we walk with confidence, with our heads high. It also makes us to be optimistic that maybe I've not realized that identity, that special thing that is in me, but I'm optimistic that I will identify it one time. I'll do know who I am and what I can do and the things that I can achieve. And that makes us to develop what we call a positive mindset. We will be positive in our lives, looking at things not at the negative side, but at the positive. And then the last one is that knowing our self-identity will help us to cultivate our relationship with God, because we've said that God has created us special and he wants to have a relationship with us. So once we know that we did not create ourselves, that God put something special in us, therefore we want to relate with God. We want to be with him. And lastly is that it gives us hope that we are not strangers before God. We are not strangers before our creators, but we are citizens with God's people. We are members of God's community. And therefore, once we know who we are, we know that we were created special. We've been created for a certain reason and purpose that we need to fulfill and to accomplish. And therefore, it's important for us to know who we are. Dig deeper, know why were we created. What is that one thing, special thing that God created you and me to achieve or to accomplish in life. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope that you are able to learn something from your self-identity. If there are areas that you need to work on, please work on those areas so that you bring out that special thing that God created and that God placed into your life. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.